I think what I want to move towards now is obviously the normal that we're in right now, right? It's very different. Well, first and foremost, it's a very unfortunate time for a lot of people, whether it's in terms of health, whether in terms of finances, relationships. You know, it's a difficult time, and you know, everyone's sort of adjusting in their own ways. And now, obviously, we sort of come at this from a dance perspective, and you know, going to see how this affects the community, how it affects our approach to dance. Let's talk about first within the freestyle sense. Both of you guys are battlers. You've had lots of battle experience. How do you think this, you know, situation that we're in affects the battle scene? How do you think the battle scene will adjust in this new normal, or can it? James, maybe you want to go.
Yeah, it actually adjusted pretty quickly. So when it started, like lockdown, people were thinking about like, oh, we set an event, yo, like how are we gonna continue this? And then people started doing online battles. So at first they were thinking of doing it live. I think some battles were done live, but they realized that, oh, it's a lot easier if you get video submissions. So like through Instagram or through Facebook, they just announce the judges, and then okay, here's a house or locking popping battle. These are your judges. Submit a 1-minute video, and then it's gonna be uploaded on Instagram, and yeah, that's been happening also even here in the Philippines. So yeah, there were also battles organized here. So yeah, like they adjusted like quickly. I think because they had so much energy, you know, and then suddenly you put them on lockdown, and then I prepared for this, you know, so they had to make an outlet at least. Or yeah, and until now, I think there are a lot of battles happening. Like Summer Dance Forever is still happening right now, so that's like probably the biggest, most prestigious battle around. So yeah, still the same format. Audition videos. People judges are gonna filter it, and then yeah.
Nice.
So I feel like it does it well.
Yeah. Let me expand on what you mentioned, right? It's funny because when you were talking about like the videos being uploaded and then people battling each other, it reminded me years ago when you go on to bboy.org and people were battling, there'd be like a thread, and so one person would send his video, then the other person would send his. Like this was already happening even before, like in the forum,
right.
which is crazy. But I want to ask, like, sort of, obviously we're seeing, and like Jess was talking about this earlier, like in terms of reaction time, right? When you're live battling, you're flexing that reaction time. Like you're using that. You know, when you're in this state now, I mean, let's be honest, you could take a retake, right? You can you can take your best set there. So do you think, for example, let's say you're an experienced battler and you're going through this time right now, do you think that they would still be at the top of their game by the time we get back to live experiences, or do you think there's still going to be some sort of a, you know, like, I don't want to say diminished, but like they're not going to be as on top as they were before? What's your thoughts on that?
I think if you're like a top battler and your motivation to dance is not just rooted in battling, or even if it is, I think the competition sentiment you'll never lose it. You'll always be on your feet, keep training every day, challenging yourself. It's just that, you know, right now, just like what James said, the battle scene actually adjusted really fast, and it's siguro to compensate muna for these temporary times, because, you know, we do pray that it's temporary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for a lot of freestylers, I could speak for myself also, even for James, for sure. This lockdown, of course, like there's so many things happening in the world, and we pray that things get better. But on the flip side, this lockdown kind of gave a lot of people parang like a sense of hyperbolic chamber training.
Yeah, you know? I see what you mean.
Everyone's like, I'm gonna train, and then when this lockdown is over, I'm gonna be so dope like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But and yeah, I think the adjustments, like what James mentioned, yung submit ng videos, well, we really can't do anything in a sense na to make things fair because if it's live and naghang yung music, pwede mo sabihin, no, I hit that beat. I hit that beat. Naghang lang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't really, it's harder for other styles. For breaking, it actually can be done live because breaking, even without music, you can judge. You know what I mean? Mas sagutan eh. So it happened for Break Free Worldwide. They had a live session. It actually went well. But of course, the essence of the battle, the response,
right.
Yung dun talaga for any style, it diminished obviously. But right now, I mean, it's better than nothing. Right?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If anything, it'll get like siguro the silver lining. It'll get battlers a little more OC or critical with their rounds. Because if they record a round, they watch it, they're like, this is crap. I'm going to train hard. I'm going to do another round. You know what I mean? If ever that could be like the silver lining that they
keep improving.
Perfection. Then,
Now, I like what you said. I like what you said when, because I was like, so do you think somebody who's been battling, will they be affected? Will they be as good or be not as good? And you were like, I just think basically, if you're good enough, it's not going to affect you.
Right?
You don't
you just train and you just lab every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not uncommon because some battlers like they purposely take a year off, kunwari, to do some underground training. And then when they come out, biglang, ang galing niya, sumabog, you know what I mean? So I don't, unless there are some dancers, and this is also a fact, there are some dancers who really latch onto the social aspect of dance. And for some people who find it hard to dance or lab alone, it might affect them. So that's also not their fault, what I mean? But it's a reality.
I think what seems to be what you're getting at as well, like, would you agree now? It's not necessarily, because I was thinking when I asked the question, like, oh man, there's not as many live battles, right? But is it right to say now maybe it's not about the number of battles that you're doing, but just the quality of your training or your lab?
Yeah, and it's the motivation, I think, at the end of the day. Like, you get motivated labbing by yourself on the regular, even without battles. You know what I mean? James and I, we always have this conversation. And, see, if you look at James's Facebook, like, you're always going to see a post on him doing something or expressing something. So he's never going to lose anything, even in this lockdown. Same with myself. But if ever there is like sure thing that could affect you is the actualness of having people around.
Yeah.
Because I know for some people, parang you could be an experienced battler and suddenly on site when everyone's around, suddenly you're like, oh shit, the pressure is, I'm back here, and then lose that feeling. But again, like what you said, if you're an experienced battler, I don't think that's a big of a factor.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. Well said.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a factor for the person who was just about to get into battling and then this happened. Right? Like he's been training for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh man.
And he's about to join that battle. 2020 is my battle year.
Oh no.
And then it's back to the drawing board.
Oh no.
Bukas na yung battle.
But the thing is though, a good adjustment though that people like are experienced right now. So for other battlers, like they're really used to the community side of it, like just being there. I know a lot of people who join battles because like we're still together, like even if we're not, in person, like when we get into this event, whether we win or not, like we're here, like I see you, we joined this battle together. So like it's like the next best thing. And then for other people too, like it, you don't have to buy a plane ticket, to join that prestigious battle. So like you can actually join them and actually go head on with the pros. So like, and a lot of pros actually got like inspired to battle again because like You know, they weren't really expecting to judge their next event. They weren't really expecting to go to this event. So like they had so much time. Right now, so like I have like my popping teacher joined this battle, and for me like, why would you join that?
Mm.
I mean, like, but he joined it, and when my friends also joined and watched him, they got so inspired. Like, oh, it's my first time to see Rashad battle, and because he's always a judge, and then
Mm.
for me, like being able to like be on the same stage with
Mm.
everybody because it's all online
Mm.
gives them like, oh, so this is how easy it is right now. You know, you don't have to go through, am I gonna buy that plane ticket? You know,
Mm.
am I even gonna register? It's
Mm.
just like you're just
Mhm.
gonna submit your video.
Mhm.
So yeah, so there are also people who join battles right now for fun.
Yeah.
Like they're not even skilled, but they just want to try it out. So for me, like that's good in a way because like battles are battles are becoming less underground. You
Mm.
know, like it's just everybody can join something like that.
No, that's dope, man. I think you really hit the nail on the head there in terms of like the biggest plus that we're seeing here is the accessibility and the opportunity, both for the new battlers and even for the old ones who are re-inspired to just, you know, like
Right.
for example, before he was just like he was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna judge, and now
Yeah.
anybody can call him out like, bro,
Right.
you know what I mean? And you got to be on your toes a little bit. So that's cool.
Yes.
That's some really cool insight, man.